the others. Aliens?
I have to share something that's been happening to me. I am a single mother raising a 10-year-old boy. We live in a small 2-story townhome, making ends meet off child support payments and my retail job. For the most part, my son goes with me wherever I go, as I can't afford to put him in daycare or hire a babysitter. The father, of course, is a deadbeat who isn't around and is usually late on his payments. Unfortunately, I'm also not close with anyone in my family, so I've basically been raising my child entirely on my own. That, along with work and everything else, makes me a very busy...
Look at those fucking nostrils. That bowl cut makes me think of Will Byers. In the worst way possible. This dude could probably sniff out bombs with those nostrils.
Person, so I'm always in need of ways to keep my son entertained when I can't give him attention. Out of what's available to him, he would always talk to his imaginary friends. I always found it bizarre, but assumed that's what all kids did. Aside from him talking to himself, he really likes to draw. I don't have the money laying around to get him any video games, but paper and crayons are cheap. During the summer when he's home from school, he spends a lot of time drawing. Most of his drawings were just stick figures and a bunch of legible scribbles at best. I constantly find them around the house whenever I clean. I found this all normal except for his obsessive fixation with a particular subject. He started to exclusively draw the same 3 stick figures over and over again. If I had to describe them, all I could say is that there's a giraffe-looking thing, a walrus, and some kind of masked person. It looked like all 3 of them were dressed like businessmen with
6 arms? These have got to be demons. Definitely. It's like, and I have a feeling they're gonna stay in the house even after this. It's like that one comedian said, I think it may have been Eddie Murphy, I'm not sure. Why do white people always stay in the house when it's haunted? Get out! Ooh, baby, we gotta go. Get the fuck out of the house if you feel like there's weird shit going on. In the first story, it seems like you can't, even though I said you shouldn't really trust priests, I meant around your kids. But you could probably trust priests and bishops and the like to get these evil motherfuckers out of your house. Like, I used to, when I was growing up, I would watch this show called A Haunting. Like I said before, it would be about, like, they would act out the experiences of real people who dealt with mostly ghosts, but there was also a lot of episodes with demons. And sometimes it ended with them just having to leave the house immediately. Leave everything behind. One time a bishop was even pushed down the stairs, I believe, which showed how powerful the demon was. Other times it was successful and they got it out of there. Yeah, just get the fuck out of that house. Like, I'd be bolting out the door by now.
With red ties. When I saw this repetition in the beginning, I brushed it off, figuring it was just a summertime fixation that he would get bored with eventually. However, he only seemed to get more interested in doing this one thing repeatedly, so I decided to ask him about it.
Hey, Jason, who are those people you're drawing there?
These are my friends, Long Neck, Big Tooth, and No Face. When I realized he was drawing his imaginary friends all the time, I was a little creeped out. It was something he did every night, considering he didn't have any real friends outside of school. I wasn't willing to acknowledge how serious he was about it. I was just too busy and overworked. But I wish I'd paid more attention to him, because things only got worse from there. One night, I was feeling very overwhelmed with my circumstances, but I wanted to hide my depression from my son, so I locked myself in my room and cried quietly into my pillow while curled into a ball. I even played some music so that if any sounds managed to escape the pillow, they would be drowned out. When I had cried myself out and dried my tears, I went downstairs to make some sad, cheap comfort food. My son was sitting at the kitchen table as usual, drawing endlessly. But when I came in, he stopped, then looked at me and said something that genuinely shook me. "Are you okay, Mommy?"
What do you mean, Jason?
"Why are you crying?"
What? How did you know?
My friend Longneck told me. He was watching you through the window.
You sure it's not the tears still streaming down your face? Like, I could still see the tear marks. And Longneck? What is he, a motherfucking giraffe? That's how long his neck is?
I fell silent. A chill ran through my whole body, and suddenly I felt like I couldn't stand on my own 2 feet. I sat down and watched my son continue to draw his pictures, trying as hard as I could to figure out some other way that he could have found out. But I knew there was no way he could have heard me or seen me. Only that Longneck could see through my bedroom window from the ground. For better or worse, I denied it anyway. I couldn't admit the existence of that thing because then I would be admitting that I was crazy. I told myself that my son was just heavily invested in the narrative of his imaginary friends. Then, over time, I forgot about it. But then, months later, something even more baffling happened. I was making dinner while my son waited at the table, in the middle of me cooking.
What are you making? Tar? What the fuck is she making? That looks like fucking tar. Ew. What is that?
At the table, in the middle of me cooking, he asked me to make another plate for his friend. I refused, of course, as I was only making 2 servings, and I couldn't afford to make more food for nobody. Still, he insisted, so I shut him down and said he could have his imaginary friend, but I wasn't going to waste food feeding someone who didn't exist. A few awkwardly silent minutes later, I made my son his plate and set it down for him. Then, I turned around for a few seconds to fix my own plate, and when I returned to the table to sit down, I was once again floored by what I saw.
Wait a minute, wasn't she just making shit soup? Why is there spaghetti? Weird.
All the food I had given him was gone. Not only that, the plate was cracked and the edges of the dining table were so chewed up that it looked like a dog had gone at it for hours without anyone stopping it. Yet it happened in just a few
I've never seen that happening on a ghost show. What the fuck?
seconds. I was stunned. There was no logical explanation for it.
What happened? What did you do, Jason?
It wasn't me, Mom. It was my friend Big Tooth. You wouldn't feed him, so I wanted to share. The entire experience had shaken me up. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been able to relax ever since. I still can't catch a break with work. And now, for some ungodly reason, I have to come to terms with the fact that my son's imaginary friends are real. I don't even have the luxury of pretending they're real just to placate my son. I'm afraid of my son now. I have to actually believe in the existence of whatever he says, or else something I can't even see might gnaw the flesh right off my bones in a matter of seconds. It's been a few years since this all started, and I'm almost at my breaking point. I can't go on not talking about this with anyone, so I've decided to share my story on the internet to see if anyone believes me, to see if anyone can help me. If anyone out there can do something for my situation, I beg of you, please help me. I swear I see no face in the mirror sometimes.
He's a real short, slender man, except with hair.
The story was inspired by a viral incident online that happened to a Reddit user. It was alleged that the user was a mother who had a son who claims to have a...
The drawing in the animation and the drawing here looks so much better compared to the other ones. Like, it actually looks like it was copied exactly from the real drawing in this one. That's so cool.
Imaginary friends. The mother would then play along with it like any mother would. But things take a dark turn when she begins to hear noises at night and experiences strange paranormal-like things around the household. With no other explanation, she turns to her son and discovers that he had drawings of these so-called imaginary friends called Longneck, Big Tooth Guy, and No Face. The mother's story has since remained a disturbing tale on the internet.
Miss Frizzle, what the fuck happened to you? You really let yourself go. Alright, well, that's gonna be it for my first ever video. I hope you liked it and found my, my take on things entertaining. Yeah, if you suspect your house is haunted, and like that these things could be very dangerous, get the fuck out of that house. Well, you still can. Alright, bye.